It is the #1 show on HBO Max.
Heated Rivalry.
Out of nowhere, a queer hockey romance took over the entire internet. Women loved it. Queer men loved it.
I didn't know y'all got this crazy. I knew they were intense, but I didn't.
And surprisingly, straight men loved it too. Nobody was prepared for how big it got or how obsessed everyone would get. But here's the strange part. Heated Rivalry isn't the first mainstream queer love story to break out. Queer romance has been here for a while, and yet very few have produced the kind of international fever that Heated Rivalry has. So what's going on here? Why this story? And why now? Heated Rivalry is, undeniably, a queer story.
I'm gay.
It's not sanitized, and it isn't culturally segregated.
A lot of women have a whole new appreciation for hockey.
It doesn't shy away from talking about sex between men.
Fuck you. I will not be able to go back to Russia.
And it doesn't cut away from the consequences of desire in a world that isn't built to hold it.
I don't want to find out.
Some viewers have affectionately called it smut, but compared to most straight romance on television, it's actually not especially explicit. What it is blunt. It doesn't default to familiar tropes for straight audiences.
My boyfriend, who, by the way, is not that dramatic. And
What the fuck was that? Alone?
And for many gay men, it is unusually authentic, despite some people viewing it as a kind of fantasy happy ending.
He gave you a happy ending?
I thought you wanted that. I was both shocked and impressed.
Heated Rivalry resonates because it gives viewers access to see themselves inside a true queer narrative. Straight women may recognize dynamics they wish they had in their own relationships, intimacy without misogyny or gendered power. For straight men, it exposed a quiet yearning for emotional vulnerability and support,
That's good.
a need rarely permitted in masculine culture,
But you're brave. Shut up.
but made safe under the backdrop of sports.
Go fuck yourself,
And gay men recognize the authenticity, nuance, and complexity of desire and longing lived through the closet and the coming out process.
I know I'm fucked up, I get it. I'm not pretending I'm not. But I really, really like you.
Experiences often simplified or commodified for mainstream straight audiences. In a heteronormative culture,
Use that tone to me.
queer narratives rarely function as mirrors for straight audiences.
You know everything because you're a man, and I know nothing because I'm a woman.
You're not a woman.
Oh, you bastard.
For context, heteronormativity is a form of misogyny deeply embedded in the culture. It not only assumes that everyone is straight,
I mean, when we bought our bed.
Oh my God! Wait, are you two a couple?
Yeah.
Yes.
but that romance looks a particular way. A man and a woman, falling in love within clearly defined gender roles. It invisibly shapes not only how romance stories are
Which one's
told,
the guy and which one's the girl? We're both guys.
but how relationships are recognized, and how desire is allowed to be expressed, often without anyone ever naming it. It rigidly narrows expectations into a binary of masculinity and femininity, defined through what men and women are expected to want,
What do you want? What do you want?
to fear, and to perform.
What do you want?
This is a reality LGBT people are often confronted by
the wife?
head-on.
I know a man pretending to be a woman when I see one.
Do you have to be so much?
This is me.
Because it leaves no room for variability.
God may have blessed you with Barbies, a backyard with a pony in it, a boyfriend named Jake, and an unwanted pregnancy that your father paid to terminate so you could go to college and major in being a basic bitch. None of these things make you a woman.
It tries to narrow what's normal under the guise of what's natural, unnaturally.
Joe, you really think he's gonna fall for that?
What's wrong with Bonnie?
And in doing so,
What's wrong with Bowie?
it not only pushes queer people into an outsider box, but it quietly places straight people into unhealthy dynamics too.
You really hurt me.
Heteronormativity doesn't just constrain who is allowed to love,
I just saved this company,
it constrains how all of us are allowed to love
but it's not as important as getting married.
and express ourselves individually.
Your fault. Don't fuck with me, all right? Don't fuck with me, Sean, not you. It's not your fault. My father is very old-fashioned.
Heated Rivalry is fascinating because it doesn't reject that script. It stages a quiet rebellion inside it, in a way that is accessible without sanitizing the queer story. To understand the romance of Heated Rivalry, you have to understand the world around it. Hockey isn't just a sport in this story. It represents a rigid ideology of heteronormativity. It's a world where masculinity is performed through pain tolerance, silence, and work ethic, and where any expression of vulnerability, emotional or romantic, feels culturally unintelligible. In that kind of environment, the closet isn't just common, it's structural. The show makes this explicit through its in-universe media coverage.
Canada-Russia final showcasing the two most talked-about prospects in the world. Canada's Shane Hollander and Russia's Ilya Rozanov.
Before Shane and Ilya ever meet, they are already assigned roles. Canada's golden boy versus Russia's villain. The rivalry is often manufactured long before the relationship even begins. And the facade is treated as truth, even when it isn't.
That asshole's about to win the cup. Shane hates him the most.
Uh-oh. You're not gonna smother him with a pillow, are you, Mr. Rozanov?
No. But good thinking.
But you hate him.
No. I love him.
In a heteronormative culture, that coding becomes the only acceptable way for men to fixate on each other by competing for dominance, never for intimacy. For many gay, bi, and straight men, this dynamic reads instantly as familiar. Because in heteronormative environments, desire and attachment often have to pass through socially acceptable channels. There's no room for mutual emotional depth, introspection, or support.
Nice shooting, Rook. Thanks.
At least not without risking that attention being misread,
Imagining he's better than you?
punished, or mocked.
Fuck him. Right up the butt.
Hockey also provides something that narrowly defined masculinity rarely allows: physical touch. Tackling, pinning, grappling, punching, all forms of sustained bodily contact that are permitted because they are framed as aggression, not affection. In many male social worlds, tenderness is policed, aggression is permitted. So in hockey, rivals get to touch. Lovers don't. This is important because it means the romance in this story doesn't begin with sex. It begins with proximity. When Shane and Ilya finally start hooking up, it doesn't register as a shock or a tonal rupture. It registers as a shift in language. They're still communicating through their bodies, just without the alibi of sports. Ilya has already accepted that he's bisexual, but he struggles to understand his need for reciprocal love. Hockey has often been how he fills that space emotionally. It gives him a form of validation that looks a little like belonging. Things he does not get from his family. Shane, by contrast, only knows himself through hockey. It's how he channels his obsessions and meets the expectations others place on him. He defines himself through the narrative of the sport, but he hasn't yet explored who he is outside of it. So for Ilya, sex becomes a bridge toward connection. For Shane, it becomes the first rupture in the narrative he uses to understand himself. Neither of them has the vocabulary for what they want, so they use the vocabulary they do know. This is also a reality many gay and bi men may recognize.
What, man? Come on, you just drove down
In a culture
here.
that discourages emotional vulnerability between men, especially romantic vulnerability, sex often becomes one of the only available ways to explore desire. Before you can name a feeling, you often have to inhabit it. Before you can articulate love, you often have to negotiate closeness. The show isn't equating sex with love. It's showing how sex becomes an instinctual language because the culture has withheld all the other forms from them.
This is such a bad idea.
Episode 2 is where the hookups start revealing what they're actually doing for both characters. In the first half of the episode, their physical intimacy reaches a new milestone. And afterward, something shifts. Shane touches Ilya with an ease that comes from unconscious attachment, affection that slips out before he even recognizes it as affection. To him, it feels natural, almost thoughtless. Ilya, on the other hand, recognizes the shift immediately, and he understands the danger of their vulnerability. Later, they hook up again. This time, Shane tries something new, emotional connection.
Do you have to?
There is no have to. It's home.
Yeah. But I don't know, is it safe?
What difference does it make?
A pretty big one, I think.
These are caring questions, romantic questions even. But Shane doesn't yet recognize them as that. Ilya does.
I need to sleep.
and he knows exactly what they mean, then shuts down. Not because he feels nothing, but because he feels too much and he understands the danger of their vulnerability. For Ilya, vulnerability isn't abstract. It has consequences. Professional, cultural, and personal. After Ilya forces him to leave, Shane begins to text. It's the first time he tries to name what's happening between them. And the first time, he's frightened by how accurate the naming feels. Gay men recognize this as a familiar part of the closet, desire arriving before language, before safety, and before the world offers a script for naming it.
I am.
Straight women may read the scene through the romantic scripts they've learned, interpreting Ilya's shutdown as emotional distance. Straight men may recognize the pressure around exposure and reputation, not in terms of queerness, but in terms of how masculinity punishes vulnerability. Same scene, 3 lenses, 3 different forms of recognition. And this is part of why Heated Rivalry travels so unusually well across audiences, as it offers different points of entry. In episode 4, we see the emotional cost of Ilya's decision in episode 2. Ilya's world is filled with empty parties and a dysfunctional family. He has people around him, but no connection. This is the emotional consequence of the closet from the inside. Desire with nowhere to land. Shane's life, meanwhile, is expanding. His public profile is rising. The narrative of who he is supposed to be is becoming more visible and more tightly policed. For Shane, the closet means a higher risk of exposure. For Ilya, it means loneliness and emotional starvation. This is why Ilya gravitates toward Shane. Shane offers emotional connection. Ilya already understands the danger of loving a man in his world, but he is also realizing the danger of not loving anyone at all. When they hook up again at Ilya's home, the language shifts. Their intimacy moves from sex to care. He hasn't found the words yet, but he knows he feels emotionally safe around Shane. Ilya stays close, tending to Shane's comfort, and invites him to stay the night. Domesticity becomes Ilya's new way of expressing desire. But Shane isn't there yet. He still only knows how to understand himself through hockey. He is following the script expected of him, with little ability or permission to improvise. This is why the moment Ilya uses Shane's first name hits so hard. It breaks their rivalry script. It reframes Shane. Shane panics, reverting back to avoid his feelings. To regain control, he retreats into the only legible script available to him: heterosexuality. He starts dating Rose. The in-universe media immediately reinforces it, restoring the rivalry and fulfilling the heteronormative order the story had just begun to escape. Episode 4 is the moment the language between them begins to shift, unevenly. Sex is no longer fulfilling an abstract desire, it's being traded for emotional recognition. And language requires cultural permission, and that is the problem for Shane and Ilya. The culture they inhabit has no script for 2 men, for 2 hockey players, in love. But the story here isn't just about love. In most heterosexual romances, the emotional climax arrives when the lovers finally confess their feelings. The tension and stakes are built around romantic discovery, and that confession resolves the arc. But in queer romances, especially those involving the closet, that structure doesn't hold.
Why don't you?
The romantic confession isn't what drives the climax. It is the result of the climax.
You're the only man that's ever touched me.
Because the real emotional stake isn't the declaration of love, it's self-acceptance. Straight characters aren't required to come to terms with being straight. Their desire is already assumed. In closet narratives, the external beats may look similar, but the motivating engine underneath is very different. Its emotional stakes aren't framed in the romantic confession.
Don't you see? I'm trying to sort it
But in the
out.
moment, the characters accept themselves first.
I've come all this way up here. On the coach and
And whether the characters can imagine a life where that love is possible at all.
come back.
Yeah, my life is complicated.
And this is where Scott and Kip's parallel storyline matters.
I get that.
Their storyline in episode 3 shows us what the closet looks like when the romance already exists.
Come out, like,
Scott accepts that he's gay,
I want you to stay. So I'm asking for what I want.
and he already believes he is worthy of love. He just doesn't believe the culture will allow him to live it openly. This shapes how he loves Kip, who is already out.
I have a family too, and I keep lying to them, and I don't want to.
With Scott's identity being split across incompatible scripts.
I miss my dad.
In many ways, the show's 4 main characters form a quiet continuum of the closet. Shane is in denial, avoiding both identity and desire. Ilya accepts his desire, but doubts he deserves reciprocal love, and believes acting on it carries real cultural consequences. Scott accepts his sexuality and believes he deserves love, but doesn't believe he can integrate it into his public professional life. Kip accepts himself fully, understands his worth, and already lives openly. The closet here isn't simply about being unseen. It's about not being able to live and love as a whole person. And that's why self-acceptance becomes the true climax of this queer romantic story. Self-acceptance doesn't happen in a vacuum. It needs language, and it needs safety. And in this story, the first person who gives Shane both isn't Ilya. It's Rose.
Listen, about last night,
It's fine.
I think this season is stressing me out more than usual.
Let's do dinner this week. Maybe just the 2 of us?
Yeah, for sure.
Episode 5 is where the old scripts are finally confronted.
Can I ask if you've ever been with another guy?
With Rose becoming the ally who allows Shane to build a new one. Rose offers Shane the first safe space to name what he feels.
Have you ever told anyone that before? Was it different with a guy?
Of course.
When she asks,
Was it better?
she isn't demanding identity. She's offering permission.
Yeah, it was,
For the first time, Shane is given language and safety at the same time. He isn't being asked to admit he's gay. He's being asked to consider the possibility that he already knows.
I kind of prefer being the hole rather than the peg.
Wow. That is the best thing any gay boyfriend of mine has ever told me.
Self-acceptance begins here.
I think I'm gay.
When Shane finally admits he is gay to Ilya, the scene isn't framed as a revelation to Ilya.
Oh yeah, what makes you think that?
Fuck you, you're not gay.
It's framed as an alignment with himself.
Yeah, well, I think
Shane now has language.
I don't think I can keep pretending I don't like you anymore.
You don't like me?
Yeah, I do. I think I like you maybe a little too much.
Don't fucking do this.
This allows him to confess that Ilya is the love he deserves, but this confession isn't the climax.
I wouldn't be able to go home again.
Because Ilya hasn't resolved his self-acceptance arc.
Do you get that?
Ilya's arc is about self-worth, accepting that he deserves reciprocal love, and confronting what it might cost him. When his father dies, Ilya's obligations in Russia finally disappear. But he still can't imagine a future outside a closet of loneliness.
I was gonna ask you, will you come to my cottage this summer?
This is why his maybe towards Shane's invitation to the cottage becomes a soft refusal, not of Shane, but of a future he does not yet believe he is safe to live.
Maybe.
And there you have it. 82 regular season games, 23 playoff performances.
This brings us back to Scott, who wins the cup at the end of episode 5.
Your 2017 champions. They've done it. I cannot.
He watches his teammates celebrate with their families. His identity as a hockey player is fulfilled, but he doesn't feel whole. This is where his triumph provides him a sense of safety. In that moment, Scott throws out the old script, not to confess identity, but to accept and integrate it. Scott has finally accepted himself, and once alignment happens internally, the question of who knows stops mattering. He invites Kip onto the ice, not as a confession, but as a claim. And brilliantly, the show cuts to Shane and Ilya, because they're witnessing a new possibility. For Shane, that possibility reads as social recognition for his own identity. For Ilya, it reads as cultural permission to accept the love he deserves.
I'm coming to the cottage.
Episode 5 ends with Ilya accepting Shane's invitation to the cottage, resolving his self-acceptance arc. Episode 6 begins with something the story has withheld for 5 episodes: alignment. Shane and Ilya are finally on the same page,
Do you want that problem to go away?
communicating a shared future and allowing them to confess their love for each other.
I don't ever want that problem to ever go away. I love you.
But their confession isn't framed as the climax.
Holy shit.
It functions as the early conclusion to their intertwined arcs,
I mean, I love you too.
because the story builds towards their parallel self-acceptance, which allows romance to follow.
Oh my god, I love you so much. It'll take too long.
Instead, the real climax of the episode comes when Shane's father discovers them at the cottage.
Oh, fuck. Mom,
This leads to Shane coming out to his mother, a scene added for the show,
I need you to know that I did really try.
and the final step in his self-acceptance arc.
I tried really hard, but I just can't help it. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you have nothing. Nothing to apologize for. I'm sorry that I made you feel like you couldn't tell me.
You're good here.
For Ilya, the moment lands differently.
Your boyfriend is
It's not his coming out scene, but his culmination.
You're good here, okay?
He proclaims the relationship out loud.
My boyfriend?
It's the moment he fully accepts he deserves this love.
I mean, yes. I think so, probably.
Shane's parents don't just accept their son, they accept the relationship.
Since rookie season.
And that becomes Ilya's unexpected reward, not just in having a partner, but in finding a family that welcomes him. With that, the rivalry script breaks. What's often missed about Heated Rivalry is that it isn't just about sex, romance, or even coming out. Those are storytelling instruments, the hooks that move the plot. The real arc is self-acceptance. Without it, a queer romance can't survive.
I've always been a private person. I've never really shared anything about my private life. But from what I've seen over the past few weeks, it's maybe important that I do a bit. Fans have been sending me messages, and a lot of young fans, telling me how much it meant to them for me to come out.
In straight romance, self-acceptance is assumed by the culture.
I'm so grateful that I get to do this for a living. But I also know what it feels like to not fit in.
In queer romance, it often has to be earned against it.
When you have a secret that you work as hard as I did to protect, it's exhausting. It's a nonstop effort. And it's also really, really lonely.
While Heated Rivalry tells a love story rooted in a uniquely queer experience, its themes of self-acceptance are universal.
You scared me.
Queer viewers may recognize the internal struggle directly.
Sorry, I didn't text you last.
The negotiation between desire, fear, and worthiness in a world that assumes heterosexuality. Straight women may recognize the challenge of accepting that they deserve more emotional intimacy than a patriarchal society often provides. Straight men may recognize the cost of a hyper-masculine culture, the struggle to express, identify, or even articulate their own emotional needs. Different audiences entered through different doors, but arrived at the same theme, where self-acceptance is the condition for love. Shane and Ilya's arcs may have drawn viewers in from different entry points, but everyone recognized their journey of self-acceptance, recognition, and joy. This is why the end of Season 1 doesn't feel like closure, but awakening. Their ending is happy, but ambiguous. They are both still in the closet, but have support within it.
Say it again in Russian, please.
The culture around them is cracked, but hasn't changed. But they have. And that recognition is what sets the stage for the story's cultural impact. Queer stories and films have never struggled to exist. They've struggled to circulate.
Lost your husband in a nice, clean hospital. You know I lost mine. I lost mine on the street. That's right. They killed him on the street. 27 years old, laying dead on the street. Killed by a bunch of kids with baseball bats.
I love you. What's wrong with that?
Historically, that circulation came with compromise.
Hate that gay role models are supposed to be just like straight people. As if even straight people are like that.
That is so true.
Heated Rivalry sits in that lineage, but what makes it unusual is how it traveled. It didn't need tragedy, metaphor, or heterosexual packaging to cross audiences. This is where Jacob Tierney's adaptation matters. He refuses those compromises in the visual story. Instead, he makes the audience meet the story on queer terms. The series trusts that intimacy between men is legible.
We can figure something else out, okay?
If it's written with precision, performed sincerely, and allowed to breathe. That choice alone is culturally disruptive, because it suggests that queer stories don't need justification. They just need to be told like they already belong.
You know, I think as queer people, I don't think we get a lot of happy endings to our stories.
People reached out and said that it gave them the courage to say something and be themselves, or
the popularity of the show has opened new conversations about queer experience, sports, and masculine culture.
Yeah.
Closeted hockey players?
Hockey players. And
it goes beyond being gay, in my opinion. We need to create environments where teammates and men in specific feel safe kind of raising their hand and saying, I'm not feeling okay, without fear of being considered weak. I think what this show did was show that real emotional reaction of two men trying to figure out how to exist in this hyper-masculine environment and yet still, have this tender, soft side as well.
That's why we're here. I wanted to bring unabashed, unashamed queer joy.
With season 2 ahead, its cultural footprint is still forming.
Yeah. Люблю.
But season 1 has already shown that queer joy can not only circulate, but resonate. And that is its cultural breakthrough.